Hello, Falcon fans, and welcome to our career retrospect as we recap the career of arguably one of the best players to ever play Concordia, Wisconsin softball, that being Jess Pozezinski. My name is Matt Menzel, and what a career she has had, and we'll go over that as we go along here on this program. But I want to start from the very beginning and your earliest memory of playing the sport of softball.
Earliest memory, gosh, like childhood memories, I can't even remember those ones. Softball has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. I kind of got into the sport because my sister, she really inspired me. She was such a good ball player, and I wanted to be just like her when I grew up. And my dad, he was kind of our hitting coach growing up too. So I remember those days of hitting in the cages and just us as a family, and that love grew from there.
We'll talk about your sister too in that relationship because obviously she was a Falcon at one point as well. But as far as your sports background goes, any other sports besides softball?
Yes, I played volleyball as well. I played it all throughout high school. I actually got recruited to play volleyball here as well, but I knew that because of the major that I want to go into, my nursing degree, I knew that I could only play one sport. So I kind of lost a bit of my heart when I graduated high school and I went to college, but I still play it here and there, and I love it just as much as I did back then, but softball was really my true love.
When did you realize you had a future in the sport of softball? You could potentially play at the collegiate level.
Probably it wasn't until maybe my freshman or sophomore year of high school. My sister, she went to Concordia, and she kind of showed me that it was possible to play softball in college and play a sport in college while you're getting your education degree. And so probably not until my freshman, sophomore year of high school was when I really kind of honed down on it and was like, all right, let's do this. And then I got kind of into the recruiting process once I was able to talk to coaches around that time, and here I am.
Based on your sister, was Concordia a slam dunk for you?
To begin with, no. I told myself I would never go to Concordia. I would not follow my sister's footsteps. But then it wasn't until I wanted to pursue nursing that I was like, you know what, Concordia has a pretty good nursing program. Maybe I should look into it. And so it kind of fell into place there. The nursing program here is amazing, and I do not regret coming here whatsoever because of that. And softball was just a bonus. Coach Crook really hardcore recruited me since the day I met him. He was like, you're going to be a future Falcon, I know it. And I was totally in that moment, I was like, you're lying. I'm never going to be a Falcon. But then probably around junior year, I was like, you know what? This is actually a really good school. This is a really good program. And so I really looked into it. There were a couple of other schools that I was getting looked at as well. But in the end, Concordia was my home.
Did you often come here to watch your sister play?
Yes, all the time, especially in college. Me and my parents, we really tried to get to every single game that we could. And so I was actually here before they like redid the field with the bleachers and everything like that. So I feel like I've known Concordia for a very long time. So it's kind of weird for this to be over, but it was just kind of like a calling. You're like, you know what, this is the field that you're going to play on. This is where you're meant to be. So it was a super cool feeling.
Yeah, with that being said, you mentioned that by your junior year, you kind of had that feeling this is where you were going to be collegiately. So then your sister's senior year, as you're coming here realizing you're going to be a Falcon, a year from now, what's kind of going through your mind as you're sitting, you watch, you take in, again, Falcon softball, but also seeing some of your future teammates?
It was kind of weird to see like the girls on the field be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be playing like next to them next year." So I think one of the things that I tried hardest was to be cool when I was talking to the girls. I was like, "Okay, these are gonna be your teammates. Like you want to be friends with them. You don't want to make a fool out of yourself." And so the girls were so welcoming. Like whenever I would go onto the field after games with my sister, like they would always come up to me, talk to me. They're like, "Oh my gosh, we're so excited to be with you next year," and all of this stuff. But it was super cool. I really tried to keep my cool when I was talking to them, but it was such a good feeling.
Was there pressure coming into this program, coming in, and the team was coming off back-to-back regular season championship seasons?
There definitely was some pressure, but then again, coming into college, I was like, you know what, I'm going to pay my dues as a freshman. If I sit the bench, I sit the bench, and that's just going to make my role as a cheerleader on the team just as big. And so I knew that I was walking into a good program and that I was going to have to work hard for my role. But it was just cool knowing that kind of what I was walking into, and coach-wise, teammate-wise too, and just the talent that we had on the team.
So what was for you the biggest difference making that jump from high school to collegiate softball, at least in the first, month or two of the season? What was the big adjustment for you?
I think probably school softball balance. For softball, for college level, it's a little bit more of a commitment than it is for high school. With workouts, extra hitting sessions, these things, like it was just a lot to kind of find a good balance between, okay, this is the time that I'm going to do my homework. This is the time where I have to get up in the morning to study or things like that because I have softball later in the day. So that was kind of a big change, but it's more of a maturity change too. You're an adult, you're living on your own, you're trying to figure out life on your own. But the girls in the program made it so easy. They really were really great leaders and helped us kind of with that transition too. So it was nice.
I know you're going to love this part. Let's test your memory. Do you remember that first game? That first game, it was February 27th of 2022.
Probably not. Was it an indoor game?
Rochester,
I hope so.
St. Olaf.
Okay. Gosh, I feel like the years kind of melt together. There is one memory I do remember from that game. It was Megan Bloyer. I think it was probably one of her first collegiate hits. It was an absolute missile to the fence, and we all thought it was over, but I remember like the dugout went crazy. I went crazy because like as a fellow freshman, like you want to see your teammates do well when they have the opportunities given to them. So I think it was that game. But yeah, that's probably the only thing I remember from that.
You had a hit that game, not to mention you had a hit in your first 12 collegiate games. So I guess when you look back at that first year, when did you start to, I guess feel like you belonged or that this was a good fit?
Probably it was not until like the middle of the season. As a freshman, you're trying to prove yourself as much as you can. And it's good that I did prove myself with those 12 collegiate hits. But it was just like you're working hard, you're earning your role. I knew my freshman year I was actually fighting for a position on the field. So I knew that any opportunity that I was given, I should execute and I should try my best to get a hit, get on base, make those plays on the field. You try to gain that confidence, but you're never really settling for what you're doing, if that makes sense. You're trying your best to keep on proving yourself. Heck, I'm still proving myself today. You gain confidence as you go, but you still are working hard for the role that you're given.
Do you remember thinking, at least during that stretch to start your career when you had hits in 12 straight games, that, boy, this has been a pretty smooth transition, that did the confidence grow?
As a freshman, probably not. Like I said, I mean, you want to do the best that you can. You want to perform for your team. And as a freshman, you're the newbie, and everybody else has gone through this before. Those first collegiate games are super nerve-wracking. The butterflies are huge, and you get up and stand at that plate, and you can feel your legs shaking because you're a little nervous. But I think confidence-wise, if you look back, like at the end of the season, you're like, okay, I did this. Like I'm able to do these things. I'm a good softball player. And so even today, I mean, there's still some confidence issues that I can go through. But I know that I've been playing this game for a super long time and I'm capable of doing these things. And I have good teammates and good coaches that are going to pick me up and support me if I do make a mistake, I do make an error, I strike out or things like that. So over time, confidence grows, but in the moment, you're probably not feeling that confidence.
Well, you mentioned it, just trying to find, your spot on the field. And you look, back into your career where you as a shortstop, but you go back then and that first game you're playing first base. How key, at least for you, was versatility?
I actually got recruited as an outfielder, so versatility, it was very well known to me. But first base was a position I had never played before, so when Coach Cook told me that, I actually laughed. I was like, Coach, I've never played that position before. What do you mean? Like, are you sure you want to do this? But then again, college is a different ballgame, and if you're thrown into a position because the team needs you, you got to perform and you got to play that position. And so I grew to love that position my first year, but shortstop was my home. And so I'm really grateful that I was able to, perform at that position for the last 3 years. And so I still love that I played first base. And even there was one game this year that I got to play first base too. So it's a little nerve-wracking because it's a completely different side of the field. So it's a very different view from where the ball is coming off that bat. But it's an awesome position, and our first basemen now do an amazing job, especially when I throw the ball in the dirt and I'm like, my bad, that was a bad throw. But they do an amazing job, and I wish I could be half the first basemen that they are.
Let's test your memory again. And when you look at your career, over 46 home runs, a program record. Do you remember the first home run?
I don't know if this was the first home run, but even girls still talk about it today. But it was in Florida, and I actually still have the softball in my bag because it was a super cool home run for me. But it was against Carroll University, which was another school that I was getting looked at, that I was getting recruited by. And there was a water tower in like left center of this field, and I hit the home run and the ball hit the water tower. So I didn't know it at the time when I was running around the bases. I was like, oh my gosh, I just hit a home run. Like, I'm not even thinking anything of it. And then when I got into the dugout, the girls and the coaches were going crazy. They were like, you hit the water tower, you hit the water tower. So I vividly remember that one. I doubt it was my first one. Maybe it was, I don't know. But I can't remember the first one that I hit.
Well, I'm glad I'm here to tell you. March 13th of 2022 against Nichols, but it was down in Florida. It was part of a streak that would see you hit home runs in 3 consecutive games. And maybe this is a tough question to answer on the spot, but when you think about all the home runs you have hit, does one or two stand out among the rest?
I can't pinpoint like a specific home run against a specific team, but I can pinpoint the feeling of them. There are just some home runs that I will never forget the feeling of the ball coming off my bat. Like, there are very few and far between home runs where I hit it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's gone. Like, half the time I'm like, it's a pop up to left field. Like that, I'm getting out. But there's few where I just barrel it up perfectly and I square up on it and it just goes. And I can't even begin to tell you how amazing of a feeling that is. I do, like, for example, the home run that I hit against Benedictine this year for the walk-off. I hit that ball and I was like, yeah, that's gone. Like, it's such a cool feeling because you never try to hit a home run. It just happens. I hope that my job is to just hit a double, left center gap or something like that. Those are also just amazing hits and great feelings coming off that bat. But yeah, I do have to say those hits and those home runs where you just know right away. I will never forget that feeling.
Well, you bring up the Benedictine walk-off. Of course, you then also set the career RBIs record with that walk-off home run to knock off the Eagles. Going back, though, okay, so wrapping up your freshman year in 2022, you hit 409, 13 home runs, 47 runs batted in, on top of the fact you're a first-team All-Conference, NAC Freshman of the Year, third-team All-Region. So a successful first collegiate season. How did you approach then that offseason and get ready for year number 2?
I tried my best to do just as good as I did the first year. I think one of the main things that I really tried hard was my mental game going into sophomore year. It's really hard kind of setting a high expectation for yourself after that freshman year. And so I felt a lot of pressure. I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself to do just as good as I did my freshman year. And I think that's why, like, there's kind of a dip in my stats going into sophomore year and then coming up junior and senior year. It's just because I put so much pressure on myself to do just as good. And then after that sophomore year, I realized, I'm like, you know what, just do your thing. Just go up there, do your thing, have fun. And so I think going from freshman and sophomore year, I wish I would have told myself that. I wish I would have told myself, hey, it's okay. You don't need to go up there and swing for the fences every single time. You just got to do your job. And so I don't think any off-season workout, any extra hitting session could kind of help you gain that mindset. But I think now looking back at it, I wish I would have told myself that in the off-season.
Well, you, again, set the bar as high as you did your freshman year. I mean, you really can't go much higher. And when you hit 343 as a sophomore year, if that's a bad year or a down year, my goodness, that's a heck of a season. But you talk about that mentality, though, and just, talking about the ups and downs of a softball season. When you look back at your 4+ seasons now with Concordia, how did you mature? And just, I guess, maybe from a mentality standpoint, how did you grow as a player, as a person from year one versus now as a senior?
I think leadership-wise, I've grown, especially, freshman and sophomore year, you're still kind of finding your role on the team. Junior and senior year, it's kind of like you're an automatic leader, kind of, just because you have that experience. But I think going into that shortstop position my sophomore year, I kind of got a taste of what that leadership is, playing in a position where you're called the captain of the infield. You see everything just like a catcher does. They see everything on the field, and so you got to be that voice. You got to be that supportive hand next to your teammates. And so I think because I had an opportunity every single year to play on that field and to be in that lineup, I just kind of gained that experience a little bit earlier than other people did, and I'm so beyond blessed for that. But I think leadership-wise, confidence-wise, and just mindset overall, I can lead my girls to that mindset where I'm currently at right now, where it's just like, this is the game that you've been playing for so long. It's okay if you make a mistake. It's okay if you strike out. That's just a part of the game. Stats aren't everything, like you can't make these amazing plays every single time you get a ball hit at you. Like there are basics to this game, and overall it's just to have fun. And so I think leadership-wise, just overall experience-wise, I think I've kind of grown from that from freshman year to now. It's just like my freshman self, I was a little quiet, shy girl. Every once in a while I'd get loud. But then now, just because I have that experience and kind of went through those ups and downs personally and as a team, I'm able to be that leader for the other girls and my other teammates.
And from a team perspective, winning helps. In your first couple of years, NAC tournament champions, NCAA tournament appearances, some great runs, including a program record 40 wins in 2023. Obviously, back to the NCAA tournament as a senior, but when you look at those first couple of years, what made those teams so successful? How much fun were those runs? Did you get to enjoy it, or were you caught up in the, hey, we got this long winning streak, we're about to set the program record? Did you get caught up in maybe the pressure of trying to set the bar even higher?
Honestly, no, which is kind of surprising to say. I think freshman and sophomore year, we were just so competitive, and we were kind of on that high of winning all of these games and being super successful that it just kind of became our job. Like we obviously had those games where we'd fall behind, but then we rallied back and we won those games. And I think it never really had the pressure of, you need to win this next game. Like, you've been doing this, you've been on this winning streak, you've got to win this one, no questions asked. Like, we just had that talent and we had that confidence in each other that we knew that we could carry out the roles that we needed to and the jobs that we had to be successful. And so it was never really pressure. It was just the fun of winning and the fun of being a talented team. And even now, that's the same thing. Like, this team this year, we've been successful, and it's been a different team than the first 2 years that I've been here, but because we're competitive and we love to win and we love to have fun, that's why we are so successful.
No question, the first 2 years getting to the NCAA tournament, having success, but then your junior year, you guys fall just short. Doesn't make it an unsuccessful season, just didn't get to the NCAA tournament. How much sweeter is it getting back there now after that year hiatus and kind of, having to put the work back in and get back to, where you were your first couple of years?
It's super cool that we got back to where we were my first couple of years this year. It's super nice knowing that we have super competitive teams in our conference. And, junior year, yes, we did fall short, but that's because we played competitive ball, and that's just the way that our path was going to end that year. And so this year it's even sweeter just because it was my senior year and it was the ending of my career, but it was super, I wouldn't have asked for a different way for it to end. It's seriously so cool that I now get to share this experience with the younger girls, and I'm super blessed that it's been 3 times that I get to do this now, which many girls don't get to say that they have that opportunity. But it's just been a super, super cool experience, and I can't even describe it any other way.
Now, you said it, stats aren't everything, but I want to bring up some stats because, that junior year, talk about setting the bar even higher. 480, that ball had to be beach ball size for you that entire season, on top of the fact you had 15 home runs and 42 RBIs. That's remarkable stuff.
Yep, I wasn't expecting it. I remember our award ceremony after junior year, and my parents afterwards came up to me. They were like, "You really hit 480? Are you sure they got that right? Like, that doesn't seem right to us." And so I didn't even think, I had no idea that I hit that high, that I had that batting percentage, but it was just it's just a role. It's just a job for me. I'm going to go up there and I'm going to try to hit the ball. See ball, hit ball. I feel like I've said that so many times. It's just my mindset of okay, you're going to find the pitch that you want, and once you find it, you're going to hack at it. And I feel like being in the like top half of the lineup kind of helps just because I see the ball a little bit more than other girls do. And now, this senior year with me being in the leadoff position, my job is to see the ball and to see the ball as much as I can, take as many pitches as I can. And so sometimes I struggled with, oh, but that ball was right down the middle. Like I want to swing at that. But my job as a leadoff was to like see those pitches, see what the pitcher was throwing, and then communicate that to my teammates. So I feel like this year it was more of a role for me, but then the last 3 years it was just like you see that ball, you hop on it, and I can hear my dad's voice in my head whenever I'm up at the plate. So that's just how it happened. I didn't try to hit that. I have a batting average, but it's super cool that I did. I didn't know that it was possible. So.
I was going to say, put that in perspective. It's almost like 1 every 2 at bats who's picking up a hit that year. I mean, that's remarkable stuff. You talk about your see the ball, hit the ball, and in your career over a 400 hitter. Did your swing change at all in your 4 years at Concordia?
I don't think so. Maybe. I mean, you're going to have to ask Coach that because, I mean, every once in a while I'll get into that slump and I'll have to fix teeny little things in my swing, but that's just part of the game. So I don't think there was any drastic change in my swing. I'm super blessed I had a free hitting coach with my dad growing up, so he taught me everything that I know. And so whenever I'd get in a slump, he'd be like, all right, get on the tee. Like, we're going to work this out. And so, yeah, I don't think any drastic changes happened with my swing, but I think the consistency kind of helped me be successful.
Now, take us through your senior year. You're juggling not only softball, but obviously your major real life is starting to become reality. How challenging was juggling everything in that final season?
Honestly, senior year was probably one of my easier years.
Oh, really?
Yes, I know. It's kind of surprising, but I feel sophomore year and junior year, nursing school gets really hard. There's like a lot of new things that you have to hop on with clinicals, and just new experiences that you're not used to. And so sophomore year going into clinicals was hard. Junior year, it was a lot of clinical and a lot of study time. And so I feel like once I kind of got through those 2 years, my senior year, I'm like, all right, I got this under control. I can do this. And it's super nice knowing that our coaches are super flexible and super supportive with it. They know that education comes first, and they know that you got clinical until 3:30, but practice starts at 3. Okay, you get here when you can. And so I think this senior year has been better for me just because I've gone through it and I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm like, all right, you got this. You got one more semester left. You can graduate. You're going to get a job. Like it's super exciting stuff, super nerve-wracking stuff, but it's just exciting, and knowing that you're being supported by your teammates and your coaches just makes it 10 times easier.
Was it more difficult? Obviously, some years more than others when you look at the schedule, always changing things to Mother Nature. Your senior year not maybe as bad, but there's some years where it seemed like you guys were log jammed the back end and making up games almost every day for about a 2-week stretch.
Yeah, I definitely remember a couple of times where I had to email professors, hey, I'm not going to make it to this final. Can I take it a different day? And so it's nice at Concordia, the professors know and they're flexible with the athletes. Hey, you got games that got rescheduled. Here are the notes from today that we're going over in class. So just establishing that relationship with your professors is just as important as communicating with your coach. Hey, I'm going to be late to this, that. And so spring weather is just, you never know what you're going to get. But being prepared academically, being prepared whether practice is going to be outside, inside, games are going to get canceled, just kind of staying on your toes. It was just really important for us to do that.
So overall in your career, you're in the record book all over, and you will be for a long time. And you look, and you own the program record for career home runs, doubles, RBIs, hits. You've played over 163 career games and counting. When you think about all you've accomplished, what does that stuff mean to you? Does one number stand out among the rest?
I don't think one number stands out among the rest. All the records are super cool. My plan was not to break any records. They just happened. I think it's super cool that my name will stay with Concordia. It's cool because not only my name, but like my sister's name too. Like, we've been at this university for 8 years now. Like, the Pozezinski family has been here for a very long time. And so it's cool that it's going to kind of continue. And I hope there's girls that come in behind me that are going to break those records too, because I know that they're not going to stay forever. And so I can't wait for those numbers to be broken, just because I know how successful the team will be doing when multiple girls will break those records and bring us to victory.
They say records are meant to be broken, but you've certainly set the bar awfully high. Accolade-wise, number of accolades, including being the NAC position player of the year back-to-back seasons. What do those mean to you?
I actually was surprised this year that I got NAC position player of the year. It's super cool. I don't think that I deserved it, just because there's so many other players in the conference that are really good ball players. And so even girls on the team, girls that we've played, like, I look to other girls and I'm like, dang, I want to play like them. Like, that was a really good play. I want to make that play. And so it's an honor and it's a blessing that I've gotten those awards. But I think other girls deserve them just as much as I do.
Is there a top game or performance that stand out among the rest?
Gosh, I don't like it when you ask me these questions. I don't remember. There are, like, certain plays, especially this past year, that my mom has posted on Facebook. She's like, oh my gosh, highlight play of the week for me. Like, so it's nice seeing those videos, like, looking back, because I feel like throughout my 4 years, I didn't really look back at games. There was one time this past season where Megan and I were looking at our games against Oshkosh. We were recruiting before we were going to play them, and we were just kind of looking over our games, and I was watching this game. I'm like, gosh, I cannot remember anything that happened in this game. Like, I don't remember making that play. I don't like hitting against that pitcher. I don't remember. But there's certain times, like I said, home run feelings. I will never forget those. Certain plays. There was a diving play I made this year that I'm like, that was pretty cool. Like, I do have to say, there's every once in a while where I'm like, all right, that was super cool. I'm super proud of myself for making that play. But overall, I just have had such a great experience with this sport. And it's something that those memories I will never forget.
So you promising us that your mom may post this video all over Facebook when it's all said and done?
I can promise you that she will. Yes.
Outside of maybe game action, do you have an all-time favorite memory just being with this program?
All of the tiny little things that we would do outside of softball. Definitely practices and games that are super exciting. I won't forget those, but when we play beach volleyball on campus, or when we do stupid things in the house in Florida, like those, just making those memories, it's so, like, heartwarming to look back at that and be like, I've had such a good team and so many amazing teammates, that they're amazing people. They're amazing ball players, but first and foremost, they're amazing people and they're amazing friends. And so I will never forget those memories of, like, making our friendships stronger, bonding, and all of those things. It's truly what makes this program so successful and so amazing. It's just because we are friends alongside teammates.
You mentioned it, the Pozezinskis have been with this program over the last 8 seasons and counting. But when, players down the road look back, look in the record book and say, hey, Jess Pozezinski, how do you hope people remember you or think of you when they think of you in softball?
I hope that they remember that I'm a good ball player. And I hope that they look back and they just see, like, those records that we were just talking about. I hope that they see that those will be broken. I have made my mark on this program, but I know that my name's not going to be here forever. And so I just hope that they remember that I was a good teammate first and foremost, and that I'm a good person. But being a good ball player, that's just a bonus.
Finally, for you, what's next for Jess Pozezinski?
So I am moving up north to Ashland, Wisconsin. In the next couple of weeks, I'm hoping to pass my boards to become a registered nurse. But as of right now, I have a position at their hospital in town. And so I start working in July. But right now, I'm going to kind of take my time and have this, like, next month off of just to soak up my time before I start working as a full-time adult. So that's kind of what's next for me. I'm super excited.
Well, Jess, congrats on a fantastic softball career here at Concordia, and all the best in your future endeavors.
Thanks, Matt.